managed to get away from the anchorage. We've done a couple of miles. We're just trying to get out to safe water. So yeah, that's what we're doing. What's happening, babe?
Oh well, the wind came up. So we got 10 minutes of sailing in and the wind stopped. It's down to 6 knots now. So we've got to put Peanut back alongside as our propulsion.
So how are we getting on?
Yeah, we've done, bang, we've done, I don't know, 60 miles?
And how many to go?
100?
So we're going to go about another 20 and then pull into a bay and wait for the tide. That's called Beagle Bay. And then slowly make our way down to Broome so we can sort this shaft out. But I'm sure Magnus will tell you more about that shaft a bit later. At the moment he's been up all night. So Peanut's been our propulsion for this saga. Luckily we've got a lot of unleaded fuel on board.
Hopefully the wind will come up in the next few days.
Yeah. So it's been trying.
Sorry?
It's been trying, hasn't it? Yeah. And the annoying, sad thing is that the shaft that's broken is the one that we just had made. So at least the engine's good and the gearbox is good.
Yep.
So that's positive. It's lovely, but we really could do with some wind so we can get back to Broome. So this is the setup. I've got Peanut alongside. It's working well. I think Magnus is a bit knackered. And one of the reasons we bought a brand new engine was so that we would be safe, so it's working out really well. And this is where we are. About 20 miles from Beagle Bay, which is down there. It's day 3 of our passage to Broome. So last night we pulled into Beagle Bay and had a lovely sleep. Magnus got a decent sleep because he'd been up for 24 hours straight. And we left this morning at about 4ish, chuffed out with Peanut, and now we're sailing for a little while because there's some wind. At the moment, I think it's saying we're going to get to Broome at what time? 4 in the morning?
2 in the morning.
2 in the morning, but that's with the wind and that will drop off. So we'll see when we get there. We may have to pull into another bay on the way if there's no wind, because we haven't got enough fuel to use Peanut for the whole way. So we've got to sort of pick our little windows. Yeah, it's never dull. Yeah, see ya.
Comes ready. See the white water? See it?
Yeah.
Oh! So loud.
So on top of trying to get down the coast with no engine to speak of, waiting for wind, using whatever wind we can and trying to at least beeline as much as we can for Broome. On top of all of that, we're trying to avoid whales. So there are loads of whales around, and every time we get one in our path we have to tack. But you can only sort of tack when you've got the wind. So we've been jibing, and it's just adding to the joy. But it is nice to see the whales. So yeah. You're up, Peanut. Oh, big step.
Yeah. Come on, Peanut, lifesaver.
Yeah.
Well, mate, ready to do your duty for country? Oops, just testing.
Well, we've made it. Broome is in sight. It's just up ahead. We're about to enter the mooring field, and we're going to just dump the anchor
Anywhere we can.
wherever we can, because we're only going to get one shot of this. So how far? Peanut's taken us 169 nautical miles from just outside Whirlpool Pass. It's taken, I don't even know how many days. How many days, do you know? About 5. Sometimes we went 1.5 knots. Sometimes we went 4 or 5, 4.5 knots. We didn't have a lot of wind. Yeah, a bit of a crazy ride really. And Magnus did 99% of it. So he's pretty knackered. Are you? Yeah, I think I can safely say he's pretty tired.
Yeah, I'm tired.
Looking forward to getting in there and
Having a sleep.
having a big sleep. So we did it. Next step is to get the propulsion organised. That's the next step. See ya.
Well, last time I spoke to you about the damage to our intermediate shaft, I was a bit stressed. We're back in Broome now. I've had a day to unwind, but yeah, that's one of the flanges, and that's the shaft that used to attach in there. it has actually sheared the shaft. It's twisted the shaft off. It was welded on both sides. It was fillet welded on this side, and then it was fill welded on this side. Oops, sorry, this side. So yeah, but looking at the shaft, I don't know if it had a stress in it, or I don't know how long it's been like that, so it's hard to tell. And I'm no metallurgist. What's it called, Wen?
I think that's Dunvert.
Metallurgist? Yeah, metallurgist. But anyway, I've got this. I took it off the other day, and I've got a very good mate here in Broome who has a lathe and a welder and all the bits I need to build this back, or put it back to its original state. It's gonna take a bit of work though. I've got to face this. I've got to reface this, drill out the base, and then return the inside here very, very carefully to take the flange, because it's stepped, right? It's stepped down from there. It's then stepped to fit into here. So to tidy, oops, things rolling around. To tidy all this up, I'm actually going to cut it shorter, because I've ordered a vibration dampener, another one to go in, because I've got to shorten this to reface it to fit into this flange. So I'm going to drop it down by 32.5 mil, shorten it by 32.5. That'll cut out all this damage. But I'm a bit concerned about this end. I don't know if you can see there. I'll just zoom in. Right there, there's a crack fracture with rust. See that? So I don't know if something's happened to this end as well. So what I'm going to do is put the lathe on that, clean it up, and then have a good inspection. Yeah, you can see it there, the crack with the rust. So after I'll inspect it, I'll make a decision whether to cut this flange off with the lathe, and then go in here and chew out the weld area and pull the shaft out of this flange as well, and redo both ends. I would have liked to have had a bigger shaft on here, but that's not the way it was made. So I don't know what we're going to do. But anyway, I'll ask my mate Cam. He's a whiz with metal. He's dealt with all sorts of broken bits up here in Broome. So I don't like all this. You know, it's all very. You can see bits of rust in there, and it's a bit scary. You shouldn't have rust with 316 stainless steel. But this is all rusted. So I don't know what to do. But anyway, we'll get it into Cam. He'll be able to let me know what to do, and then I can get to work re-engineering. I really like to put a 1.5 inch shaft in. That's what we might end up doing actually. There'll be someone in town with a bit of prop shaft 1.5 inch that I can get, because I'd like to get a bigger. Yeah, I just don't like this thin shaft. So that's what I'd like to do. Boost it up to 1.5 inch, re-weld it all, reface everything, and go from there. So yeah, that's the plans. Yeah, we're just going to move the boat now. We've been at anchor here for the last couple of days, but it's not very good holding, and we're sort of not dragging, but it just doesn't feel good. It's a rocky bottom and I can feel the anchor moving a little bit. It's just a bit of sand over rock, so it's not my favourite type Anchorage, and it's renowned for dragging here. Luckily we haven't had any big winds. It's 20 knots. So we're going to move on to a mooring. I've just got hold of my mate Zorba in town here. He's the mooring fella, and he's going to come and actually tow us to the mooring because we've got no propulsion. The other thing I'm going to do is, this is the Remember the saga with the old autopilot drive unit? How I had that thing apart 1,000 times years ago and repairing it. Well, I repaired the clutch unit in it a few weeks ago, and it's been working beautifully all the way from the West Kimberley to here. Well, we're still in the West Kimberley officially, but there's a little circlip that sits in this groove. See this little groove here? See that? There's a little circlip that lives in there, and it keeps jumping out. And this shaft is on a plunger. Remember I rebuilt the actual cam for the plunger? The old one had cracked, so I made a new one out of HTPFC, whatever it's called. So the cam lifts this shaft up and down to engage, this way around, lifts it up and down to engage and disengage the drive onto this spline here. And what has happened is it's lifted it up. This circlip that stops it going any further has come out of its groove, and it's lifted up too far. And once it lifts up too far, the chain hops off, and then it won't sit back down on the cam properly, and you lose drive completely. So I might look at deepening this groove. I think what's happened over the 40 years it's been working, the edges of the groove here have rounded off a bit, so the circlip just sort of rides over. And I bet you the circlip's lost a bit of tension as well. So two-fold attack is to deepen this, clean up the edges, make them nice and square again, and get a new circlip, one that's nice and springy again. So they're my two jobs on the lathe while we're here in Broome. We've got a week till our friends arrive, and so I've got a week to do all this, and 100 other jobs before we go. But anyway, just a little update. See ya.